You owe it to yourself to stop living in a box that you've outgrown. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Lealations. I'm so happy to be back. I feel like I haven't made an episode in forever. It's been like 4 weeks since I made an episode, a whole month. So it's time for me to get back into the swing of things and give you guys my realizations, give you guys the tea. And luckily last night I could not go to sleep, and I just had this constant stream of consciousness, and I got all of these ideas and all of these epiphanies, and I'm gonna share one of them with you guys today. Side note, I may be recording multiple Lealations episodes today, so if you see multiple episodes of me looking like this in the same shirt, it's because I'm recording them back to back. But anyways, before we get into the bulk of the topic, I want to catch up a little bit and give you guys a better understanding of why I wanted to talk about today's topic, because you guys know I have to be inspired. So let me explain what inspired today's topic. So as you know, I'm a 23-year-old girl, you know. And I'm living my life every day, navigating my early 20s, navigating this world that we live in, and just trying to keep it all together and also be the best version of myself, or become the best version of myself in the process of it all. And I have been having a lot of realizations about myself lately. I feel like because I've been maturing, a lot of my desires have been changing, a lot of my intentions have been changing. I feel like I'm coming back to myself in a sense. And when I say coming back to myself, I like to think of life, especially like your late teens, early 20s, as you being in the dressing room. You're trying a whole bunch of different clothes on, you're trying a whole bunch of different outfits on, and you're seeing what works. But at the end of the day, it's gonna take you trying on a few different outfits to figure out which one fits you the best, which one you actually love or would love to wear. Throughout my early 20s and my late teens, I have embraced this process of trying on a whole bunch of different clothes, in a sense, by trying on a whole bunch of different, I don't want to say personalities, but just different ways of operating, ways of thinking, ways of dressing, careers, different things that I do, different hobbies, different interests. I've tried a lot of things, girl, okay? I'm just a very curious person, and I kind of like to try everything once. I'm getting out of the mindset of feeling like I have to try absolutely everything, but I used to like to try everything at least once. Let's just say that. Maybe that's like the Gemini influence in me, girl. I don't know, okay? I don't know. In maturing and growing out of that, I'm coming to a place where I'm finally seeing which clothes fit me the best, which clothes I feel the most confident in, which outfits I want to wear for years to come, for a long time, meaning which parts of myself that are truly me versus what didn't really fit that I was just trying on. I hope that makes sense. As of the last few years, I feel like I've been living my life in a way that was authentic in the moment, but in the present moment, it's inauthentic to me now because I want to move in a different direction. And I also had to come to the realization that it's okay to change direction drastically. It's okay to pivot, even though it feels uncomfortable, even if people identify you with a certain type of way of being. You have to do what is authentically you in the moment. You can't be worried about what other people are gonna think or how they'll receive you. All you have to be worried about is what feels the most authentic and the most right to you. So today's topic is all about outgrowing your old self and embracing inner transformation. Life and death has been a prevalent theme in my life, and I'm realizing just how much it has been and continues to be a theme in my life. And I don't mean literal life and death, I mean mental life and death. I mean my personality being born and dying, and then a new one being born and then dying again, and then a way of thinking being born and then it's dying, and then a new way of thinking being born, different styles, different likes, different interests, all of these things. It's constant regeneration for me personally. That is just what my life experience is about. That's what I've come to learn about myself, and I'm seeing that from a whole different perspective because I'm learning to embrace it. I started to question things and ask myself, like, what if the version of you that brought you to this point of success is now what's holding you back? Because that is a very real thing. We have to give ourselves room as individuals to grow and to transform physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in every single way. Boxing ourselves in can block the evolution that we internally crave so much. And there's this quote that I've heard before, that I'm sure you guys have heard before, that I knew, but it really has been hitting me and resonating with me lately. The quote goes, "You can't get somewhere you've never been by doing what you've always done." And I had to realize that if I want to switch up my life, if I want to switch up my style, if I want to switch up my interests, if I want to switch up my career, if I want to switch up even the way I just speak to myself, speak to others, then I cannot get to that version of myself by continuing to do the things that I've always done. I have to change, and I can't be worried about how that's going to make other people feel or how they're going to receive it. I can't even be worried about how that's going to change my life. All I could be worried about is doing what feels right to me in that moment, and if that's what feels right to me, then that's what I have to do. So this is what I'm doing personally, and this is something that I call you to do as well. We need to choose to embrace our multi-dimensionality, even if that means letting go of old ways of being that once worked. And that could feel really scary, especially if your old way of being is what gets you paid, or if your old way of being is what makes you feel accepted within your community or in society, or if your old way of being is what is keeping your relationships and your friendships intact. It can feel scary to change, but you have to understand that you have to put yourself in fulfilling your destiny and being authentic over anything else. You just absolutely have to. You owe it to yourself. I'm gonna break this kind of into segments and we'll go from there. So first things first, transformation requires surrender. Again, this is something that is obvious when you hear it, but it's just a new level of knowing and understanding that I've been experiencing. So that's what I'm sharing with you. Success isn't static, okay? Just because one thing worked at one time doesn't mean that it always will. You have to give yourself permission to be able to change. Just because you were one person yesterday doesn't mean that you have to be that same person tomorrow. Give yourself the room to grow and evolve. Like, for example, this is a small example, but when I was a college student, when I was primarily a student and I didn't do anything else, I was very in like schoolgirl mindset. I was very in that one track mindset of I want to go to school, I want to get my degree, I want to be a teacher, or I want to be a therapist, and then I want to get my master's, and then I want to get my doctorate so I could be a licensed psychologist, and I want to do XYZ, and I want to knock all of the things out of the park. My life has not unfolded that way thus far, and I doubt that it's going to unfold that way in the future, because that's just not what I'm interested in anymore. And I had to give myself the opportunity to change and to try a different path, which is what I did back in 2020 when I moved back home after we got kicked out of school because, you know, of the virus and everything. I gave myself the opportunity to chase my dreams of then modeling and influencing and different things like that. And so far I've created a lot of success for myself, but even now I want to pivot again. And life is just going to be a series of pivots. It's going to be a series of pivots because you're going to try something and you're going to love it for a while, and you may love it forever. You may continue doing it forever. Like a lot of the things that I'm doing now, I'm not going to necessarily stop. Like I'm not going to stop influencing. I'm not going to stop being a business owner or anything like that. But I'm just changing the way I approach the things so that I can make room for other things that I'm interested in without abandoning what I've built so far. Which was a learning process because I'm the type that likes to like knock everything over and start brand new. It took a lot for me to not throw away my business. And I'm so glad that I didn't, and I'm so glad that I have people in my life that are good voices of reason and talk me out of doing that. But I just have the personality that's like, burn everything to the ground and let me rise from the ashes. But I had to understand that I can burn myself to the ground while maintaining the things that I've built and creating new things and nurturing those new things while this thing runs in the background. You know what I mean? One of my biggest pet peeves is when people box me in. I hate labels. I hate when people box me in. It just makes me very, very uncomfortable, and I hated it so much more as a child and as a teenager than I do now. And I realized I started labeling myself. I started compartmentalizing myself. I started boxing myself in order to be more palatable to brands and consumers and algorithms and different things like this. I just took a step back one day and realized, like, wow, I'm really doing myself a big disservice by boxing myself in like this, by compartmentalizing myself like this, because I'm so much more than what I am known for or what I put out there. I'm thinking about other ways that I've showed up in the world that feel inauthentic to me now. Like, even when it comes to being an influencer and receiving so much PR, like, this is a small example, but I am starting to really get a distaste for over consumerism. It just doesn't feel right to me or reasonable to me to be a over consumer, and I just really have no interest in doing so. Like, I'm the type of girl that sticks to what I know. I stick to what I love. Once I love a product, I use it forever. I don't really switch it up just to try something new, like maybe occasionally, but I have like my comfort products, you know what I mean? So it just feels inauthentic to me to bombard you guys with all of these new products and the hottest new thing out, because I don't always use the hottest new thing out. So why would I be pushing you and influencing you to do the same thing? So I feel like that's something that I've done in the past with promoting PR that I don't even end up using. But that's not something that I want to do moving into the future, because it feels inauthentic to me. It feels unfair to you, and it feels inauthentic to me personally. And I can see the error in my ways and take accountability for that, and I can share that with you guys, because I mean, I just don't care that much. I don't think it's that big of a deal. You should be able to self-correct yourself, especially if you are a public figure or somebody on a platform that is influencing hundreds of thousands of people. You have to be able to do that. You can't play God in a sense. You're human, I'm human. I don't know why people are out here walking around acting like they're above being human. Like, we're humans, we make mistakes. It's not that big of a deal. You could believe something one day and then the next day you could change your mind. It's not that big of a deal. I found myself becoming a polished, flattened version of myself that I felt like the algorithms would love, or consumers would love, or brands would love, so that I could get a bigger piece of the pie. But as I get older and as I mature and as my values change, I don't really care about getting a bigger piece of the pie, especially because I understand spiritually that as long as I'm doing my part in contributing to the collective, I'm always going to be taken care of, and I'm always going to live an abundant life. So I don't have to go against myself or deceive people in order to get access to that abundance. And that is just something that I truly believe now. Not to say that I was just deceiving people in the past, like I wasn't, but I feel like this is something that is common in influencer culture that is not talked about. Like, girl, they're lying to you. A lot of them are lying to you. I mean, I know this because I'm in the industry, but I'm telling you as a consumer, they're lying to you, and you guys need to get smarter about realizing who's telling the truth and who's lying. Okay? Something else that has been so scary to me, I had the thoughts of, well, if I change, like, what does that mean for how people perceive me? How are people gonna react? And then I just had to tell myself, like, it really doesn't matter, because who cares what they think? It may be different, but it's me. And if they rock with me, they rock with me. If they don't, they don't. And that just is what it is. I personally am getting more comfortable with embracing every side of myself. Even if that looks confusing to others, I don't see a lot of people embracing every side of themselves, because they worry about how it's gonna be perceived to others, and the more multidimensional you are, the harder you are to package, the less palatable you can be in a sense. In the same bright, the more openly multidimensional I am, the more refreshing it is for people like you watching me, because everybody else is just niching themselves down. So I want to show you all of my humanity in a sense, obviously keeping something sacred and private for sure, but I don't want to come off as perfect, because I'm not perfect. I'm perfectly imperfect, and I'm learning and I'm growing, and the learning and the growing process is not always pretty, but you learn from the good parts of life as well as the bad parts of life. Yes, sometimes I have it all together, but sometimes I'm really messy. I just want you guys to understand that you could be more than one thing. Me, for example, I'm sexy, but I'm also really smart. I'm bossy, but I'm also really soft. I'm very whimsical, but I'm also very grounded. I'm hot, but I'm also very deep. I'm all of these things. You don't have to be one or the other. You are vast. Like, you could be all of these things. You are all of these things. You just have to learn how to tap into them and embrace them. I plan on integrating all of these layers of myself unapologetically, whether people understand it or not, whether it's palatable or not. It just is who I am. It just is my personality. Gone are the days where I compartmentalize myself, because that's just shrinking myself. You should not be doing that either, okay? Don't be out here compartmentalizing yourself just to be appealing to strangers on the internet. Don't be out here compartmentalizing yourself just so you can get friends in real life. You need to be the biggest, most bright, most expansive version of yourself, the most authentic version of yourself. That is what's going to attract your true tribe, your true supporters, and things like that. Not being a watered down version of yourself. And I think one of the biggest dilemmas I'm having right now is understanding how to make the shift when you let go of old identities, because it's not an overnight process. It's like a daily constant unlearning, constantly choosing to do something differently. It's choosing something new to wear versus what you usually wear. It's choosing a new way to say and express your thoughts versus how you used to express your thoughts. It's choosing not to scroll on your phone and to go and do something that you've been interested in doing that you haven't been, because you're too busy doom scrolling all day. It's like, it's going to be a daily unlearning process where you're also going to be choosing differently every single day. Shedding your old identities doesn't mean that you were fake before either, because you were being authentically who you felt you needed to be in the moment then. But this is not the past, this is the present. So you need to be who you feel called to be now. That's what you need to be doing. This is a sign that you've grown, and this is a good thing. This is a sign that you're maturing. You're not supposed to stay how you were 5 years ago forever. You're not supposed to stay a little girl forever. You're supposed to grow up. You're supposed to mature. You're supposed to put your big girl panties on and do life the right way. Normalize your evolution. It's okay if people don't understand it. What matters is that you do. So I personally am learning to give myself more grace and more flexibility. I suggest that you do the same. Talk to yourself, have more positive self-talk, do your affirmations, learn to speak to yourself differently, and give yourself grace in this process of unlearning, because it's not going to be an easy process, especially if you've been one way for so long. But understand that it's never too late to change. It's never too late to transform. And when you feel called to do so, you should embrace that transformation, even if it's uncomfortable. You have to walk through the fire so you can burn off all of the things that no longer serve you, all of the things that are weighing you down, and come out as a new, lighter, higher version of yourself. Moral of the story: you owe it to yourself to stop living in a box that you've outgrown. Give yourself permission to evolve. Be hot, be smart, be sexy, be messy, be deep. You're allowed to be it all. You don't have to just be one thing. I feel like my thoughts were a little bit all over the place, so I hope this video resonated with you. I hope that you found some value in this video. I absolutely enjoyed talking with you guys. The giveaway winner will be in the description box below, so if you want to see if you won the giveaway, your name will be in the description box below, and I most likely have reached out to you on Instagram at this point. So congratulations to you, girl. I have on extensions from my hair company Clips. This is our princess curl. I just did a twist out on it, and I have on one set of the 20 inches of the princess curl. We're launching April 12th, so if you guys want to get your hands on this hair, make sure you are signed up for our VIP list, so that way you could get VIP pricing the first 24 hours of the drop. I hope that you give yourself room to grow and transform and change, and I love you guys so much, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys in the next episode of Lealations. Bye.